What do you believe you are? What is the definition of you? That is my question today. Because who you believe you are is who you will become. If you just keep going through life believing that you're this street thug, or you're just this drug addict, or you're just this failure, that's all you will ever be. And that may sound harsh, but this is the reality of life today, is you will only be who you believe you are. How you define yourself will be how others start to define you. See, I believed I was a champion long before I ever was. I knew what I was capable of because of the struggles that I had as a child, because of the things that I put myself through at a young age. Only made me stronger, made me believe in myself more. And when I set my mind on a goal, I pursued it until it was conquered. And then when I conquered that goal, I kept climbing up the mountain until I reached the top. And then when I reached the top, I aimed for the stars. And when I reached the stars, I aimed for the universe. And that's the perception you must take on your life today, right? Raise your standards. Some of us settle for failed relationships over and over because that's all our standard is that person. Sometimes we put up with abuse for years because that is our standard. You have to raise your standards and take the action to reach that level that you've raised it to. And when you reach that level, you must climb even higher. That's how you improve. That's how you become successful. Success is not defined by a bank account. It's defined by your heart. It's defined up here, what you think of yourself, your definition. And it isn't until you change that mindset that change will happen. Because that's what we're all striving for, change. Don't settle. I'm not settling today. When I got sober, I said no more settling. I lowered my standards as a drug addict and did a lot of things that I regret to this day. Some things I have to practice on a daily basis. Acceptance itself is a daily practice for me. It's not something that I just accepted one time and I was okay with. You see this back here? That was supposed to be my future. It ended up being a part of my past, and I regretted what I had done to that. I regretted that I had lost all those opportunities, and what do I do now? I had to become who I believed that I was. Because I started to realize that when I removed the drugs and the alcohol, and when I started to believe in myself and strive for more, I was achieving. And it was only little baby steps that it took. But when I started to focus on the little victories instead of just focusing on the big one, I started to realize that I was getting closer and closer to my dreams. That I was getting closer and closer to the life that I once prayed for. You know? I noticed that when I kept my faith in God, that things ended up okay. They didn't always happen the way that I wanted them to right away, but they ended up working out in the end. And it sounds unreal because when we go through stuff, we think that they couldn't get any worse. That why is this happening to me? And it isn't until the future that we realize why it may have happened. And sometimes we may never know. And sometimes we have to feel pain so others don't. That's how God works. You know, and this overdose awareness month has really been affecting me. I've been reflecting on the 17 friends that I lost, and I'm not going to go naming people, you know, because that's not what I'm making this video for. I'm making this video so that you don't end up as a rest in peace status on a Facebook page or a face on a t-shirt that gets tossed in the corner in 1 year. I believe that you are greater than that. I believe that you can achieve whatever you put your mind to as long as you don't have to put nothing in you to do it. Only thing inside of me today is the Holy Spirit. Only thing inside of me today is the memory of those that have lost, and that's why I continue this fight. And that's what has caused me to raise my standards, because I have breath in my lungs today. That's why I'm sitting here filming this video, because I know if I don't, no one else will. These are things that need to be said. Maybe this is something that you need to hear. But I'll tell you what, it all starts with the belief in yourself. It all starts with the definition of you. If you define yourself as great, you will be great. If you define yourself as a punk, you will be a punk. If you define yourself as a failure, you will be a failure. But if you define yourself as a fighter, if you define yourself as a champion, if you define yourself as the greatest to ever walk this earth, that's what you could be. And some people say it's not humble, and some people say that's ego driven. No, I know what I've survived, so I walk with confidence today. I talk because this is what I'm passionate about. I talk because I have lived this and am living it today. So please raise your standards. Become who we all know you can be, who your family knows that you're capable of being. Don't let these bondages hold you back any longer. Break the chains and push forward. Thank you for listening to me today. I love you all. If you're struggling, please reach out. We are here with and for you. I love you. Good night.